students were all looking at me like this though. There was a sort of nervous tension in the air. But one of the interesting things about setting a space like that up and inviting a whole range of artists from many different places, in fact, I think I was greeted tonight with "Welcome to Australia." So obviously the assumption here is that everybody who shows at RAYGUN actually does not live in Australia. It's an international artist, right? And in fact, there's a very interesting way of creating a network, which I started talking about today at the art school, because Tan said to me, "Oh, I've been invited to do this project about arts-run initiatives in Copenhagen." And I said, "Oh, that's very interesting." A very good friend of mine, very close friend of mine, Eva Koch, who's in the Biennale in Sydney, is a very important Danish artist who's going to be in Sydney for a couple of weeks. Why don't you come down to Sydney and meet her? So Tan, of course, rushed down, and we had a very nice lunch. But that's a very interesting way of actually building a network, because here's an artist who's come all the way from Denmark, and you're going to Denmark tomorrow, and so you've got this interesting connection besides the immediate connection and network of the artist-run spaces. Here's a very senior artist. Eva is about 60, and in Scandinavia they have a very enlightened program, which I don't think the present Prime Minister is going to introduce in Australia, where at a certain point in your career, because they want to keep artists actually in Scandinavia, they don't want everybody going to live in Germany or going to London or New York. They want to actually have a cultural group of people working in their own countries. And so what they do, at around 50, you can start applying for, in Denmark, I think you have to be 55, you can start applying for a Danish cultural fellowship. And at a certain point, if you're considered to be of an appropriate level in the establishment, and you don't sell too much work, so you can't be actually making a lot of money commercially. So to support artists who probably are pushing the envelope in some way where you're not going to have a lot of sales, you're actually given about 100,000 Australian dollars a year for the rest of your life, tax-free. And that is the reason why a lot of artists stay in Scandinavia, stay in Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. These interesting, those countries, particularly Norway, now because of the North Sea oil, Norway is very, very rich. And Norway has, I'm just diverting here in finances, but Norway has the largest sovereign fund in the world. It's $950 billion in its sovereign fund. The next group is Saudi Arabia, has about $650 billion. Australia has $95 billion. The reason why Norway is so rich is never sold the North Sea oil to corporations. It's actually owned by Norway State Oil. So the revenue of North Sea oil comes back into Norway. So Norway is a very, very rich country with only 5 million people. So what's happened is Norway is now so wealthy that Eva said to me, in the end, they now employ people from Denmark and Sweden to go and do all the jobs in Norway that the Norwegians don't want to do anymore because now they're so rich, right? So, I'm segueing here for a lot of reasons, but one is, the point I actually wanted to make is, it's very interesting to have people set up a project like RAYGUN in a smaller city, so it's not Melbourne, it's not Brisbane, it's not Adelaide, and actually start to create a network, because if you don't have these sorts of spaces, everybody starts leaving, so you get this cultural dissipation. So it's very important that you actually do in fact have centres like this, and the connection I was making to Scandinavia is they don't want people to leave. Well, perhaps RAYGUN is the reason why you might stay in Toowoomba after you graduated from art school. Yeah. And I think these guys deserve a round of applause.
Absolutely.
And really, and I just want to say thanks for all coming to the opening, and enjoy the wine.
Oh, everybody, please have a catch up with Brad before we pop off, which will be soon. We have dinner, and also we just wanted to say that Brad actually wrote about RAYGUN, and in a book which was published just last year through the Sydney University Press, and it was a great honour, and thank you very much for speaking about our artist run space.
Yeah.
And thanks, Carl, for introducing us to Brad. Brad was Kyle's supervisor from Sydney Uni. So that's the connection. Have a good night and speak with Brad.
Well done. You're amazing. I All right, see ya.
No.